You know the vibe. All spice, no sugar. Let's get into it.
Welcome back, my love, to another episode on the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. And I don't know why I haven't done this episode sooner. Okay, let me talk to you about what is business energetics. What actually does it even mean? How is it going to help you? Why do I need to care about this or know about this? And it's so interesting that I share this with you. And as I record this episode, this morning, I was at a mastermind with Nick Comandino. If you don't know him, please go and follow him. He's an absolute gangster and such an incredible leader in the space. And I've had the pleasure to hang out with him a little bit at his masterminds here in Texas. And this morning, actually, I got called out to do a spontaneous teach piece. And of course, I just teached on my absolute jam, which is business energetics. And then as I came to sit down and record these episodes, the first episode that I had written down here is what is business energetics. So clearly the universe is doing its thing as per usual and just keeping me on pure alignment. And actually, random side story as well, I actually got lost on a quest to get to the mastermind this morning. I hired an Uber. It was a Waymo, which is a self-driving car, but I put in the wrong address. So then I was in the middle of nowhere and I had to walk to a different pickup to get another Waymo to get to the mastermind. And one of the shops that I walked past, it was called Aligned. And you know, when you just get signs from the universe like that, when you're in the midst of like chaos and you're stressed, and then the universe is like, alignment. You're like, fuck. But here we are, and it couldn't be more perfectly aligned. So, haha, universe, you got me. All right, so let me paint a picture for you. You've got two people, exact same offer, exact same price point, exact same experience, exact same strategy. One person is highly successful, and the other person is struggling. So to the strategist, I actually posted a thread like this the other day, and I was like, dear strategist, explain why two people with the exact same offer, the exact same industry, the exact same expertise, the exact same strategy can show up and have two completely different outcomes. Explain that to me without using the words energetics, frequency, vibe, mindset, anything unconscious or consciousness related, okay? Explain. And the reality is there is no other explanation other than energetics, other than nervous system regulation, nervous system attunement, vibration, frequency. You quite simply cannot explain this without using those terminologies. So I really want you to understand this concept and recognize how important it is for you in your business and why you need to know about this. The sooner you know about this, the better. Because as you grow your business, you're going to be forced to face parts of yourself. And if you don't have the tools and the knowledge, you will reject your success, or you will keep yourself at arm's length to the thing that you want to achieve. And this is what I highlighted this morning as I was giving this teach piece at the mastermind session here in Austin. And one of the girls was like, I was like, okay, what's your highest income month that you've done? And it was like a 40K month. I said, okay, cool. How long ago was that? And she was like, it was beginning of this year, like a few months ago. She's like, since then, I've been constantly circling around 25 to 30K months after I hit that record month. I said, okay, cool. Tell me about the time you hit that 40K month. What were you doing in your business? And how does it feel if you were to think back to that moment when you did that record month? And her response was, it was so overwhelming. I had lots of new clients. I was doing so much work. And I said, okay, so if you were to think about doing a 40K month again, how does that feel in your body? What's the immediate response? And her answer was overwhelm, stress. Like, I don't want to deal with that many people. I said, great. Then you know that this isn't actually a strategy thing, a content thing, a funnel thing. This is your nervous system out of attunement to the income that you want to hit. So in order for you to hit that next level income, again, normalize it and then move beyond it to the next income threshold, you actually need to retrain your relationship to that amount. You need to teach your brain and your body to be in coherence. So when you hit that level income, instead of it being like a milestone, it's just a byproduct of your consciousness, and you've actually trained your body that it is safe and normal. Because here's what happens when you do hit a record month. It's exciting. You're like, woohoo, celebrate, just hit a record cash month. Your brain's like, yeah, girlfriend, let's go party, celebrate. But then immediately is then going to go, okay, that was really cool, but let's just go back to normal because we don't know how to hold it. Is this sounding familiar by any chance? So to explain it in real sense, I'm going to explain this to you. Business energetics is the study of why the same action produces different results depending on the state you're in when you take them. It's the intersection of nervous system science, identity, and strategy. And it explains why you can be doing all the right things yet still not generating the success that you want in your business, right? So here's another example for you. Think about Wi-Fi. For starters, how the fuck does Wi-Fi even work? Does anyone know? Okay, we get it. There's satellites, ping pong. But when you think about it, your brain is like, how does this actually work? So if you're trying to stream a video, say you're on YouTube trying to watch a video, and there are two people in the world. There's someone in the US sitting at a cafe watching a video, and they've got 5G full bars. That video is going to stream and come through really quickly. There's really not going to be any problems. But say, for example, there is another person who is in Mexico, for example, in a third world country where the internet connection is not that great. They're trying to watch the exact same video, they have the exact same device, exact same new iPhone, but their internet connection, their Wi-Fi, they've got like 1 bar, as opposed to the person who's in the US who's got like 5G full bars. The person with 5G full bars is going to stream that video and be able to watch it straight away with no problems. The person who's in Mexico, who's got 1 bar, is going to have to like wait for it to buffer, load, take its time. You're going to be able to watch like 2 minutes and then it's going to pause and buffer again. And it's really stop, start and kind of experience, very slow, very exhausting, very frustrating. And probably most likely you're not going to finish watching the video because you just get frustrated and throw your phone away. Okay. That Wi-Fi example is how business energetics work. If you're not operating in attunement where your brain and your body is in coherence, you will have that low bar experience. Because when your brain and your body is in coherence, this is very similar and pretty much it is the same as what Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about with heart-brain coherence. It is a proven scientific fact, they've been studying this for years, that when you bring your heart and your brain into coherence, your energetic frequency emits at a higher hertz, meaning that you're vibrating at a higher level. You're operating in a higher frequency, which means that your resonance is going to be bigger. It's going to be louder. It's going to connect you with what it is that you're trying to connect with. Think back to the video, the YouTube video. The higher the frequency, the higher the vibration, the higher the Wi-Fi, the more bars, the faster that video is going to load, right? Because it's in resonance. As for the person in Mexico, the bars is really low. It's up and down. Sometimes it might even stop completely. The Wi-Fi might go out. It's chaos. It's frustrating. That person is going to have a lot harder time actually bringing themselves into heart-brain coherence, no matter how many times they press reload or refresh on their video. It's not going to get the results. It's going to take so much more time. Right? When you bring your heart and your body into coherence, what you're doing is you become attuned to the energetic frequency to what that income threshold is. Okay, so I want you to bring up into your mind your income goal that you're working towards. Maybe it's your first 10K month. Maybe it's a 50K month. Maybe it's a 6-figure month. Whatever that number is, this applies across this, like this is universal language, okay? I want you to put yourself into the shoes of the person who does that. What version of you actually makes that amount of money? There's two things you can do here. I want you to recognize how it feels in your body and what is your brain saying to you about this amount. Is it saying to you, it's a lot, how do we do this, how do we sustain it? Or is it saying that's too far away, you can't even really connect to it? Is it feeling overwhelmed? Is it feeling really excited? Is it feeling uncertain? Is it feeling confused and overwhelmed? Like, what is the relationship that you have to that number, right? I want you to feel what is in your body, okay? And your goal is, and this is what I teach in business energetics, your goal is to create coherence in your body. So by creating coherence in your body, you're training your mind, i.e. your brain and your body, to normalize that. So when you do achieve it, you're just like, oh, okay, cool. This is just normal. I have been working towards this. Of course, this happened to me. Celebrating yourself, absolutely, but regulating yourself in receiving it. Because if you don't, your body's going to go into overdrive. Or you're going to be constantly keeping it at arm's length because you've never trained your body how to receive it. Okay. So there are 3 layers to business energetics. Number 1 is the nervous system, which is kind of what I've been speaking about. It's your body's safety dial. Just like homeostasis, when you've been taught in 9th grade science about homeostasis, that when something gets really hot, the body is going to sweat. It's going to do what it can to bring the body temperature back down to normal. Okay? Your nervous system does the same thing with your income. When you hit that high month, your body, like I said before, it's going to go, hell yeah, girl, that was amazing. Let's bring it back down to what feels normal again, okay? Because there's only so much you can actually hold within your body. There's actually a dial point you have internally that dictates how much money you make and not a single dollar more. So when you do have that month, it's going to bring it back down to go to your normal, to bring you back into what feels safe to hold. And I'm actually going to teach you as well how to find out your set point, because when you actually recognize what your set point is as well, you'll be able to, the first step for change and transformation is awareness of the pattern. A lot of people are constantly showing up in their business actually unaware of what their financial thermostat is. So then they get that confused and overwhelmed when they do have the high month, low month cycle. And they're looking externally of like, oh, I need to fix my content. Oh, I need to hire a team member. That actually might actually help with your nervous system regulation. But they're constantly looking outward instead of recognizing, okay, my body's actually just doing what it's meant to do, which is protect me and bring me back into homeostasis. So to find out what your financial set point is, I'm going to tell you at the end of the episode, so stick around for that, because I want to continue on to layer 2 of business energetics. So layer 1 was obviously your nervous system, which is what your body believes is safe to receive in the sense of money. Number 2 is your identity, okay? The number 1 thing that you absolutely need to master in your business, if you want to constantly grow and evolve and scale, is your identity. A lot of people are striving for their next level income, yet are still operating in the identity of the version of themselves that created the business, okay? The version of you who yields the success in your business is completely different to the version of yourself who creates it. And when you can recognize that, it actually allows you to let go of the past identities that you've been holding on to for dear life so you can step into the next level. And that requires you to really be radically honest with how you're showing up in all areas of your life, not just your business. It requires you to recognize, are you still entertaining friendships and relationships that aren't actually in alignment to where you're going? Are there boundaries that you are folding on that you know is creating a bit of a leaky cauldron in the sense of leaky energy? You need to really recognize how you're showing up every single day in your life is a mirror to your business results. So I want you, this is something that I always get my clients to do. The moment that they step into my world, I say, who are you identifying as from this point forward? Because who you were up until this point of investing with me doesn't matter, because it got you that far. Now you're investing into my world because you're claiming your next level. And to claim your next level, you have to claim your next level identity. So who is it that you're becoming inside this container? And I need you to know, and I need you to commit to relinquishing the previous identity of who you showed up as in the world prior to joining this space. So I ask my clients, who are you becoming? And that might be the 10K month entrepreneur. That might be the 30K month CEO. That might be the profitable millionaire. Whatever that identity is for you, I want you to take a moment right now and ask yourself, to achieve my next level, who do I need to become? And recently my client did this. So she said to me at the beginning of June, she said, Candy, I want to have $10,000 in my bank account. I said, okay, Jess, let's do it. This is amazing. Who do you need to become? She said, I need to become the 10K version of myself. I can't remember exactly what she named it, but she did have like a name for it, like the 10K month CEO. And I said, okay, what part of your identity right now does not align to the 10K month version of you? And she said to me, I've been thinking this for quite a while, but I actually want to rebrand my social media and let go of my, not let go of my business, but she had been showing up as Sacred Raving on Instagram. That had been her business, and she'd created, quite significant success, built a very successful personal brand through that account. And she said, that's just not me anymore. I really want to evolve more into the sacred embodiment coach. And I said, okay, well, how does that look like on social media? And she said, well, she said to me, oh, I'm going to start a new Instagram account and call her I Am Jessica Miller. I said, for what purpose would you not leverage and actually integrate Sacred Raving? Because I recognized in that moment it was a pattern of hers to want to have to start again. And instead I invited her to integrate who she'd already been, the identity she'd already been, into herself to then become her next level. And I see a lot of people usually try and just be like, oh, I'm just going to start a new Instagram. I'm going to change my identity. And actually, which is an actual self-protection mechanism instead of integrating the identity of who they once were to pivot and evolve. People are like, well, that business did so well. I don't want to, disrupt the community by turning it all about me. And so I helped her work through that. And of course, she changed. I said, what would the 10K month version of you do? And she said, I would just change the Sacred Raving to, I would pivot and be like, from now on, moving forward, this page is Jessica Miller, Sacred Embodiment Coach, and I'm actually helping you. I'm helping you as a mentor. And the moment she made that decision, everything changed. It was because in that moment, she changed her identity and how she related to herself and her business. And every time a piece of self-doubt or a question or uncertainty came up, I would ask her, what would the 10K month version of you do? And the reason I was asking her was to train her brain and her body to normalize and regulate hitting that 10K month. And of course, I also challenged her in her offers and helped her with her strategy. But the whole concept of how I challenged her in her strategy was with the one intention for her to identify as someone who already makes that amount of money, to train her brain and her body that making 10K is just normal, is just who she is. And through these practices, through nervous system regulation through the identity work, and I'm about to share with you layer 3. She not only hit a 10K month, but actually doubled it and hit a 20K month 3 weeks into June. All right, this is the work of business energetics. And layer 3 is the experience of the energetics. It's the energy in action. It's the frequency of how you make decisions, of how you show up, in how you behave. It's what you're actually broadcasting. Remember the Wi-Fi analogy, and I said the person who has got the full Wi-Fi 5G bars is going to download that YouTube video way faster and way easier than the person who is in Mexico and has got 1 bar and Wi-Fi is going on and off. It's because of the energy in action. It's the way you're broadcasting, which essentially is how you're showing up and how you're transmitting yourself, okay? The first way people know, I ask this all the time to people. I say, how do you know that someone is inauthentic? Or how do you know that someone is out of integrity to what they say? And people's first initial response is, oh, you can just tell. It's a feeling, it's an energy. They'll try and say other words like it's all how they sound, or it's how they hold themselves, which is also true, but that all comes down to you just know. It's an energetic frequency. It's the transmission. The saying goes, if you doubt you, they will doubt you too. So when it comes to your transmission, your energy in action, when you train your nervous system to regulate the higher income threshold that you're working towards, you identify as that person. The next layer that you need to double down on is the energy in action. How convicted are you in yourself? How do you handle doubt, conflict, uncertainty? How do you bring yourself back into the knowingness and the certainty that penetrates through any doubt? That energy in action is what causes your 5G bars to be at full service. When you're second guessing your every move, you're acting as the person who's in Mexico who's got on and off Wi-Fi. You act on motivation, you act on highs and lows. The person who is successful is consistent regardless of their emotions, because they're operating from a place of their energy in action, of their conviction, of their knowingness. And I've seen this come up time and time again in my clients. Most recently, a client of mine, Samara, who just crossed 100K this year in her business, and she's in her first year of business. She ran a retreat recently, and she had sold a few tickets, and she had 1 ticket left, and she was like, she said, oh, do I just give it away? And this was 3 weeks out from the event. And I said, babe, you've still got 3 weeks. What do you mean? So her doubt, her level of self-doubt, I coached her through it to step back into her knowingness. And she's like, I'm investing so much into this retreat. I don't know how I'm going to make this next payment because there's so much going out for the retreat. And I said, come back into your knowingness. When you come back into your knowingness, your Wi-Fi goes back up to 5G. When you're in that spiral of like, I don't know, the evidence is suggesting that I don't have the resources to be able to do this right now, the money isn't there. There are going to be so many times in your business where the money is not going to be there, and you have to solely rely on your knowingness to penetrate through any level of self-doubt. Okay, that's it. That is how it works. So what I need you to hear from this is your knowingness penetrates through any level of self-doubt. It's what makes the action, it's what makes your actions, it what makes your nervous, like it what makes the income come through. Okay? That is how. And that is why energetics is so important for everyone in business, no matter what industry you're in. I've got clients who are in the embodiment, who are in mindset, who are in fitness, who are in farming, who are in affiliate marketing. And the reason why they come to me is because they know that to get the goal that they're working towards, energetics is the key piece. So what do you do in this moment? I want you to identify the block, then ask yourself, how am I showing up? Create that identity for yourself, and then start to signal to the universe that you are showing up in that way. I'm going to quickly go through how you can find your financial set point, and it is so simple. All right, I want you to go and look at your last 5 months in your business. Calculate them all together. So take your 5 months in business, add them all up, and then divide by 5. That is going to be your financial thermostat. That's what your body feels safe to receive. Okay, it's just the average of the last 5 months. Go and do that, and you'll see what your body actually knows as normal. And then what I want you to do is I want you to begin to calibrate your body to that new level. So increase it by 10%. Like, go to the next number that you want to work towards, and I want you to train your body and your brain and start identifying as that version of you. That is how you will quantum shift into your next level income threshold. All right, my beautiful babe, if you want to learn more about this and if you love my teachings, I really do invite you to step into my world. You can find the website below and get yourself some freebies, trainings on how I actually coach this. And if you're ready to continue on this journey, I would love to invite you to have a conversation about working with us further. Enjoy this episode. If this resonated with you, please comment below. If this was valuable, please share, please review it. Press all the little buttons and things, because this podcast can only grow with your support. And I don't know if you like it unless you comment and unless you share. So please share, please show the love, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. You know the vibe, all spice, no sugar. I will see you soon.